Hello Primary 5. Let's start Concept 1, Hydrosphere and Biosphere Interactions. And let's move to Lesson 1. In this concept, we are going to talk about our Earth, and we are going to divide the Earth into different spheres or into different systems. In the Earth, we have four main systems. They are Geosphere, Atmosphere, Biosphere, and the Hydrosphere. In each system or in each group, we can find different things than the other group or than the other sphere. So in the geosphere, it's related to the Earth. It's the system that includes the rocks on the Earth crust, and we know that the crust, it's the cover of the Earth that contains rocks, soil, and sand. And also in the geosphere, we can find the molten rocks that under the Earth's crust. Number 2, we have a system which is called the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the system that contains all the gases on the Earth, like the nitrogen gas, oxygen gas, water vapor, carbon dioxide gas. They are related to the atmosphere. In the biosphere, we can find all living organisms on the Earth. So the biosphere is the system that includes or contains all living organisms, like microorganisms, plants, animals, and humans. And in the hydrosphere, we can find all the water on the Earth, even they are fresh or salt water. And now let's talk about water. We know that water is so important for all living organisms and also for non-living things. How? We know that all living organisms need water to drink, grow, and survive, right? But how could the water be important for the non-living things? Because water causes the weathering and erosion of rocks on the Earth's surface. Like the weathering, it's the breaking down of rocks. So when the water breaks down rocks into smaller pieces due to the effect of rain, that's called weathering. But when the water transports or moves these small pieces or small parts from place to another place, that's called erosion. So as we can see from this picture, that's the breaking down of the large rock into smaller pieces like this. So that's weathering. When the rains, when it's raining like this, the rains or the water takes or moves the particles like this from place to another place, and that's called erosion. And we know that our Earth looks like a blue marble, but why? If I asked you, give reason, our Earth or our planet looks like a blue marble because it's covered with it's covered with 70% of water. So about 3/4 of Earth is covered by water like this, so we can see the Earth as a blue marble. And we have different uses of water. As humans use water in many things, such as preparing the food, bathing, cleaning, or traveling with boats and ships. And also we have different forms of water or different water bodies, and we know that a water body, it's a place that contains water, and we have different types of these water bodies. Number 1, which is called ocean or the sea. Ocean and seas, they are very large water bodies. They don't have a definite shape. Their shape is something like it's not a definite. And the description of ocean and seas, they always contain salty water. So we can find only salt water in the ocean and seas. Number 2, the lake. Lake, it's a water body that is surrounded by land. It's the opposite to the island. Yeah, I know that the island appeared inside your brain, but the island, it's a land surrounded with water from all directions, and lake, it's a water body surrounded by land from all directions. And some lakes contain fresh water, and some other lakes contain salt water. Number 3, it's the river. The river, it's a water body or a place that contains water, and it flows from a high place to a low place, something like the mountain, and we know that rivers contain only fresh water. We have a new water body which is called estuary. The estuary, it's a water body which fresh water of a river meets a salt water from the sea or ocean. As we see in this picture, it's a river. The river is going to meet the sea in this point. The river contains fresh water, the sea contains salty water, so this point where we can find the mixture between salt and the fresh water, that is called estuary. And we have runoff. The runoff, it's a water body that is formed of rain, water, or melting of the snow that moves into rivers or inside the ground, or go deeply inside the ground. And we have the groundwater that we can find under the Earth's surface. So we have to go deeply inside the Earth to find this groundwater. And now let's talk about the interaction between hydrosphere, and we know that it's the system of water on Earth, and the biosphere, it's the system that includes all living organisms. We know that it's clear that we can find interactions between the water and living organisms on Earth, as the plants, all seeds, to grow they need water, and the water, it's a part of the hydrosphere. And also humans and animals, we need water, or we need to drink water to stay alive. So what happens during the water cycle? Or we know that the water, it's a renewable resource, because in the water cycle, or during the water cycle, the water evaporates from the water body, any water body. The water evaporates or changes into gas, then condense to form clouds. After some time it rains, or during the raining the water returns back to the earth, and something like a cycle or a circle, so we call this water cycle. That's all for this lesson, and thank you for listening.